LEGO might call it the 1 by 1 by 2/3 roof tile, but to us, it's the cheese slope. This element is so essential to modern LEGO that it's been included in nearly 5,000 different sets over the last 2 decades. Last year, 40% of all the sets LEGO released included at least one cheese slope. Simply put, LEGO would never be the same without this element. So let's go back in time and see where this piece came from, and more importantly, where it's headed next. Let's take a closer look. The cheese slope first appeared at the tail end of 2004 with the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, every train enjoyer's holy grail. This seemingly simple little engine alone will set you back at least $400. The locomotive is covered in all manner of rare parts and recolors, many of which are still exclusive to the set today. But back in 2004, I'm guessing everyone was pretty fascinated by these little guys, who we definitely take for granted today. The small pieces allowed for an unprecedented level of detail to be added to LEGO models, and the cheese slope would soon be available everywhere. When 2005 rolled around, the cheese slope was unleashed in all its glory across 43 sets and in 13 different colors. Having been primarily introduced to the piece within LEGO City myself, I always think headlights when I see it. Vehicles would prove to be the most common use for the cheese slope, but already in 2005 it found plenty of other purposes. Do you remember X-Pods? They were small creator-like sets that came uniquely packaged in a special LEGO container that itself functioned as a system element. These often featured animals which made great use of the cheese slopes as well, like the Dragon Pod, Monster Pod, and Aqua Pod. And already the tiny element was proving plenty useful for other microscale builds too within the Factory theme. Factory to this day still boasts some of the highest cheese slope counts within its sets. So that does bring up the question, what set has the most cheese slopes? Well, that record might just be forever held by the 2010 Tower Bridge. Even though the 1x2 cheese slope technically existed when the set was released, for some unknowable LEGO reasons, the design exclusively utilizes the smaller 1x1 version, and a lot of them. Of the set's 4,287 pieces, a remarkable 585 are cheese slopes. And you probably noticed by now, but almost all of these are tan, that help shape the corners of the iconic towers. Yeah, probably not the most exciting building experience trying to align nearly 600 of these bad boys, and if somehow this set didn't have enough cheese slopes for you, LEGO packed in an extra 12 for you, just in case you lost any. The next cheese slope evolution came only a few years later with the release of the double cheese slope in 2009. It made its debut within the Racers line, once again functioning as various car parts like the windshields of some tiny turbos. Over the years, the variant has become nearly as commonplace as its little brother, appearing in well over 3,000 sets. Both this and the 1x1 are some of the most frequently recolored bricks as well. The original cheese slope has appeared in nearly 60 different LEGO colors. Of note are transparent brown, transparent neon green, transparent medium blue, and glow-in-the-dark trans, all of which are colors that have unfortunately been discontinued. Just like with the slope's debut in the Burlington Northern, LEGO has had a long and nasty habit of trying to get you to place stickers on this tiny little element. It is indeed a trend seen as recently as last year with Speed Champions. However, and thank goodness, this is far more uncommon now as printed cheese slopes are instead becoming the norm. But there is perhaps no printed cheese slope quite as important as the cheese slope. You'd first find this set in the Looney Tunes CMF with Speedy Gonzales, but this element has become the quintessential 1x1 by 2/3 slope design. It's really not appeared in many sets, less than 10 altogether, and in quantities of only 1 or 2 at a time, but I do hope it sticks around for a very, very long time. Beyond new prints and stickers though, the cheese slope family remained largely unchanged after 2009. That was, until this year. Leave it to Speed Champions to do something absolutely bonkers. For years, the theme has introduced cutting-edge and insanely useful detail elements like the beloved D-Snot brick a few years back. And in 2026, Speed Champions introduced no less than 3 new cheese slope variants to the family. Many of us LEGO fans have dreamed of corner cheese slopes, but it's certainly something I never truly believed would happen. Yet lo and behold, here they are, and both inner and outer corners at the same time, no less. And all of this accompanied by yet another unexpected surprise, the 1x4 cheese slope. Because why the heck not? And it looks like there's a 1x3 as well to fill in that gap between the 1x2 and 1x4. What's next? A 1x5? A 1x6? How far will they go? To me, these pieces seem perfect for microscale house roofs, but LEGO has found a surprising variety of uses for the elements. I was first introduced to the convex corner cheese slope as the ears of the LEGO Ideas Sea Otters, and apparently there's 2 of these elements somewhere on the $600 Pokemon set. At the time of writing this, the convex corner only exists in 3 colors, black, bright green, and trans black, but I'm guessing that will change very soon with the massive June 1st release of summer sets. The concave corner is a bit underutilized at the moment, only appearing in a singular Speed Champion set in red. Hopefully it too will see a great deal of recolors here in just a few weeks. The 1x4 slope also can almost only be found in car sets, but there is one weird outlier, which is where I found my first copies of the part. Behold the Nike Air Max 95. Definitely one of the most ridiculous sets of all time, but you gotta admit the designer did a good job with the actual look of the model, and this one is an absolute treasure trove of rare elements. Between all the new opalescent recolors, printed elements, and even a few brand new molds, this is going to be an amazing one to part out. And somehow that's not it for 2026's Cheese Slope innovations. The set hasn't quite come out yet, but it looks like the new Marvel Shield Helicarrier introduces a whole new type of cheese slope, curved cheese slopes. It's debuting with a pretty large element, a 6x6 rounded corner slope. Super niche, but extremely interesting. Hopefully LEGO will do all the smaller sizes in due time to match their existing selection of macaroni tiles. Perhaps more than anything else though, I've loved seeing what the LEGO community has been able to do with this element. Many of the best cheese slope centric builds are mosaics. With a little bit of math and a little bit of willpower, you can create some amazing shapes that you wouldn't even think were possible out of LEGO. Well, it's definitely more like a lot of math and a lot of willpower to make some of these. Either way, the results are stunning. These creations are as delicate as they come, held together by friction, gravity, and a lot of prayers. Without studded surfaces, cheese slopes simply don't really have much to offer each other in terms of clutch power. And while I was by no means the first person to figure this out, you can actually create perfectly smooth hexagonal towers by using 2 cheese slopes at each corner. It's become my go-to tower technique just because of how clean it looks. LEGO doesn't usually play nice with angles outside of 90 or maybe 45 degrees, so it's a really fun way to spice up some of your castle builds. So what's next for the cheese slope? The convex and concave corner slopes are definitely going to keep me satiated for a while, but it has got me thinking about how LEGO could further improve upon the cheese slope family. Imagine, for instance, an inverted cheese slope, a version of the piece with a stud on the bottom instead of an anti-stud. Or what if we kept the current version of the piece but put a stud on the sloped section instead? That could be extremely useful. Let me know if you have any other cheese slope variants you'd like to see. Even in its current state though, this brick has changed how we interact with the LEGO hobby. While it would be pretty crazy to say an element without a stud on it is the most important LEGO piece ever, the influence of the humble cheese slope is still undeniable. Over the last 20 years, it's become so much more than just headlights or some uber expensive train detailing. It's used for mosaics, it's used for roof shingles, and most importantly, it's used for cheese. No matter what LEGO ends up using it for next, the cheese slope will continue to be a fan favorite for many, many years to come. At least as long as I'm alive. So I'd love to hear what your personal favorite cheese slope moment is. Do you have a favorite use for it in your own creations, a favorite technique from a set, a favorite cheese slope color? Let's talk about it in the comments. Anyway, that's all I've got for this time. I hope you have yourself a fantastic life, and I'll see you here again soon.